Hey, Sunshine Sisters, welcome back. Sorry it's been a couple days. I know I promised one last night and I failed you. My boys just needed a little extra attention last night, and so I just put it off till today. And honestly, the message I had, I knew it was like weighing on my heart, and I felt like it was what God wanted me to talk about, but I really wasn't sure why. Like, I was like, why is this sticking with me? Because I read several things, like, all throughout the day. Like, anytime I'm, like, sitting in the bathroom or at a red light or whatever, like, I'm listening to podcasts or I have Bible verses that pop up on my phone constantly. And if I see one and don't understand it, like, I'll click on it and read more. So I read a bunch of things throughout the day. And it's only if something, like, sticks out to me, like, I'll, like, jot down, like, oh, I want to talk about that. So I don't know why this stuck out to me, but then last night, we were all okay, but we were all just having a little bit of a hard time in our family. We have lots of emotions and some decisions going on right now, and we just felt heavy. Like, I think me and my husband both just felt heavy and felt burdened, and we just weren't sparking the joy last night, you know? And that happens. It happens to all of us, but it was kind of like a light bulb moment. I was like getting ready for bed, and it like hit me, and I was like, this is why God wanted me to talk about this, because I need this right now. So we are talking about being steadfast in our faith tonight, and not even steadfast in our faith, but steadfast. There's 4 different types of steadfast that's mentioned in the Bible. And another word for that is faithful endurance. So how to keep your faith going and your love and obedience when you're under pressure and temptation and burdened, and maybe when you're suffering. And I think that's why it resonated with me last night, because me and my husband are both kind of in a position where we like don't really know how to answer our like, where do you see yourself in 5 years type question. Like, we're in this place in our life where we want to like pursue the Lord, and everything we do, we want to be like for the Lord and feel like we're like fulfilling his purpose for us. And I don't know that either one of us are like 100% confident like we're there where he wants us. And so I think like each day we're just like racking our brains with this question of like, what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to be? Like, how am I supposed to serve? And it can get like heavy and daunting sometimes, and tiring and just draining when your brain is just like not, letting you like rest in that. And so we're going to be going through what steadfast means and how we see this in the Bible. And so first off, like I said, steadfast, or like an interchangeable term, is faithful endurance. So steadfast is like kind of one of those words that like I feel like you throw around or like you read in the Bible, but like you never really stop to like think like, what is the definition of steadfast? Like, what does that mean? Like, what is that telling me to do? And so I feel like if you interchange that with faithful endurance, that makes a little bit more sense. So it's like, we know endurance means like being conditioned enough to like continuously go. And faithful, we know, means to like remain in our faith in the Lord, no matter what the circumstances. So we have to have the endurance of faith in order to keep up, run the marathon. And thank the Lord that faithful endurance is a little bit easier than an actual marathon, because that may be one I can finish. So when you look up the definition of steadfast, it says firm and unwavering. So when you think about that, you're like, okay, God's love is firm and unwavering. Like, God's love is steadfast. And that's going to be the first thing we talk about, the first steadfast. So steadfast love. And we see this in Psalm 136. It says, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. So essentially, like, God is our example of love. Like, we know that, right? We've talked about that. That, like, if we love like God, then, like, that's what he's calling us to do. That, like, at the end of the day, put all the other things aside. Like, if you love like God, all those other things are going to fall into place, because you can't love others like God and be judgmental or gossip or act drunk, like out of drunkenness, or have an affair, or all of those, things that we talk about. Like, if you're loving like God, none of those other things are going to happen, because that's not how God loves. So he's obviously the ultimate example for how to be steadfast in love. Keep that endurance of love. And we see that in Psalm 136. So his love for us is unwavering, even when we fall short. And I think that's what's so important. And I'm going to read some today also out of Bible Recap. That's the one thing I like about it is like, yes, it takes you through the Bible chronologically. But Bible Recap also you can use like, if you're just reading a verse and you're like, I don't get that, or I need to know more, you just go to the table of contents and find that chapter in the verse, and then you can just read it that way too. So you can really use it however you want, either to read the Bible chronologically or just use it as a resource, to learn more about whatever you're studying. So this is in day 211 of the Bible Recap. It's going over Isaiah 54 through 58 because Isaiah 54 is going to be kind of like our overarching verse for this session. And so at the end, it has like the God shot, which is just kind of like the snapshot of the overall summary. And it says, let me find it. I'm having to make do tonight. I'm not at home, and so I don't have any of my stuff. So we're makeshifting. And normally I have all this highlighted, but I don't tonight. So we're just going to make it work. It says, God doesn't run from sinners. He draws near to sinners to help them. He's the only one who can help them. He says, I dwell in the high and holy place, and also with him who is of a contrite and a lowly spirit. He's in the high and holy place, but he's with the lowly. And why? It's to revive the spirit of the lowly and to revive the heart of the contrite. And that's in 57:15 of Isaiah. And I think that's so important about love, is to know that his love endures forever, and it's unwavering even when we fall short, because we're going to, and we fall short every single day. But I think it's so easy for us to feel like, oh, I'm not ready. Oh, I haven't done enough. Like, God doesn't want me in the position I'm at now. Like, I've got myself into this hole and I'm going to dig myself out first. No, he wants to meet you at the bottom of that hole. And honestly, that's where he meets most people. Like, he goes to the lowly. Like, he goes to the brokenhearted. He goes to the troubled. And that's where he wants to meet you, because he wants you at your brokenness so that he can build you into the person that he has, fulfilled in you. Like, the person he wants you to be is inside of you. He created us. So he wants to break you down so that person can build up and come out of you. Okay, so next, that was steadfast love. Next steadfast we have is steadfast faith. And we see this in Isaiah 26:3. It says, you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. And I think that's the most important thing about being steadfast in our faith, having that endurance, is to keep our peace. Think about when we start losing our faith. We're fearing something. We're having anxiety. Just like I talked to you about, like, what me and my husband, we like are on our hamster wheel of like, what do I do? Should I do this? Am I making the right decision? I think I made the wrong decision, but now how do I fix it? I just don't know what to do. I don't know what's right. I don't know if this is going to upset someone. You're on your hamster wheel, and that is not resulting in any sort of peace. You are going to be like a hamster. You're going to be exhausted afterward. You're probably going to be more confused. You're going to be turned around in your direction. You're not relying on the path and direction that God has for you. And so another definition I want to point out is faith. I feel like faith is another one of those like words we throw around. And I'm like, I want to know what the definition is of faith. Y'all can tell this is how I learn. Like, I'm the why child. Ask my mom, like, anytime I'd be like, why does a cow have spots? Why does a light bulb have to be yellow? Like, I'm asking every question. Like, I want to know the why and the base so I can understand something. So I'm like, so what is the definition of faith? Like, I want to know what faith means. And the definition of faith is to completely trust or have confidence in something, even without physical proof. So even if you're praying for something over and over, God, please give me this promotion. God, please let me grow my family. God, please let me not be lonely. Let me find a friend. Let me find a husband, whatever it is you're praying for. And 6 months down the road, that prayer hasn't been answered. A year down the road, that prayer is not answered. 5 years down the road, that prayer is not answered. That faith of believing like it's not been answered, but I know it's coming. I know God's going to fulfill whatever my purpose is. That is faith. It's believing in something without seeing it. You know, we don't see God. We don't have Jesus. I think all the time when I watch the Chosen series, I'm like, dang, they had it so easy. Like, Jesus was right there. Like, they got to touch him and talk to him. Like, how easy would this life be if, like, I could just, like, hey, Jesus, can I pull you for a minute? Like, could you imagine? And they still wavered in their faith, and they still questioned him, and they still weren't sure about their plans, and he was right there in front of him. So we have to have faith that, like, Jesus' love for us is real, and that heaven is real, and that these promises of the Bible are real. That is what faith is. We have to know these things without having the hard evidence proof right in front of us. And God gives us proof. Like, when you have those God winks, like, that's God, like, assuring us, because he knows we need a little something, something to get us, to keep us having that endurance. So hold firm even when he doesn't answer those prayers. You know, we've talked about that before. Like, what does your faith look like even when he doesn't? When he doesn't answer that prayer, when you don't feel like he's right there with you, like, what is your faith looking like? What is your endurance looking like? Like, are you slowing down? Are you starting to walk? Are you getting a side cramp? Your faith is dwindling? Are you keeping strong and keeping that pace up? And this looks like not turning to fear, not turning to doubt, and not giving in to that temptation. Being so strong in your fear that you can shut all those things out without a question. All right, so our third steadfast is steadfast of obedience. And obedience and steadfast faith kind of go hand in hand. It's hard to have faith without the obedience. Like, in order to remain faithful to God and to love others like God, we have to have obedience and self-discipline, right? Like, we can't just go out on a whim every day, because we know that our whim of humans is failing God. We are natural born sinners. We don't naturally have obedience and love and faith. Like, these are all things that we have to practice and fill ourselves full of the world. Not fill yourselves of the world. That is not one way to do that. Fill yourselves of the word of God, so that it can pour out of you. So 1 Corinthians says 15:58, be steadfast and movable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. So we got to be strong in it. We've got to be like rock solid, like no matter what comes at us, it's just bouncing off of us, because we are so strong in our faith. And that requires obedience. It requires self-discipline. I talk about it all the time. Like, this is the first time in my life that I have been so obedient in my relationship with God. Like, I do not let a day go by without reading something. You know, some days it may just be the one verse that's on my home screen. And other days it may be hours. Some days it may just be a podcast. It may just be a couple worship songs on my way to work. But just that little bit of something every single day helps you stay obedient, because that discernment and those convictions, like, lay heavy on your heart when it's front of mind. So continue your good work and faith even when your results aren't immediate. And so again, that goes back to exactly what we just said. And jumping back to the Bible recap, like, y'all, we aren't the only ones. I don't know why this is so shocking to me, but lately a lot of the things I've been studying, like, I think we get this, like, perception of, like, well, this was written so long ago, like, they don't understand. Or, like, God wrote this so long ago, like, they don't know what it's like in today's world. They don't know what it's like to deal with what we deal with. And I guess just because I've never studied the Bible, like, really thoroughly, like, honestly, I'm like, I've been a Hobby Lobby Bible study person, you know, just whatever's the popular thing on the poster. But now that I'm, like, really getting into it, like, y'all, they faced so many things that we face. Like, it talks about sex, homosexuality, like, orgies, like, crazy stuff that, like, you wouldn't think that the Bible is gonna, like, go into. Like, it talks about infertility. Like, I am gonna probably do one soon on that. Like, and I found a Bible verse last night about barren woman, and it was so peaceful to me. And I sent it to a friend who I know is really struggling with that too, because I had never read it, and I wish someone would have sent it to me when I was going through that. And so it's just crazy to me, like, you can almost find, like, an example of anything that we suffer with, like, in the Bible. And so, sorry, side tangent. We're going back to continue good work and faith even when results aren't immediate. So this is in Isaiah. Again, remember, that's what we're talking about. In Isaiah, he is prophesying to the Israelites, and they're transitioning in to learning about God and, like, more of the Christian faith. And it says, hold on, I told y'all I wasn't as prepared today. It says, Isaiah has been prophesying about both immediate and future salvation, but the Israelites assume it will all be immediately and completely fulfilled. How many times are we like the Israelites, where I'm like, God, please let this light turn green, and I just expect God to be like, doop, green. Like, that's not how it always works, right? You know, sometimes it may feel that way, but majority of the time it's not. So, as Israelites assume it will be immediately and completely fulfilled. So, Isaiah clarifies further. He says they're still called to put away their idols and worship God alone, because underneath their worship of false gods is a heart that doesn't yet believe Yahweh can be trusted. Yahweh is God. Whom did you dread and fear, so that you lied and did not remember me, did not lay it to heart? That's 57:11. Fear of man leads to forgetfulness of God. He says there is a wrong kind of righteous deed. The heart behind what they're doing matters. He'd rather they fast from selfishness than from food, from pride instead of wine, because all their fasting is still selfishly motivated. So we need to think about that. Like, when we're calling on God, like, is it selfish? Like, are you motivated by your own self-desires? God, let me get to work on time. God, please give me that promotion because I want to make more money so that I can buy a Louis Vuitton bag. God, please bring me a husband because I've been abstinent, but I'm just ready to have sex. Like, like, what are your desires and what are you praying for? And what is that stemming from? Is it coming from a selfish place? Because God knows our heart. He knows where your heart stands, and he knows if you're coming from a selfish place. And he's saying right here, like, that is no good to me. Like, I would rather it come from an earnest place and an honest place than you putting on a show on the outside just for, like, good rapport and to pretend like you're doing the right things. And so I think it's easy to fall to that when we want those immediate results. Because usually when you want immediate results, it's for a selfish reason. We want immediate gratification, right? All right, lastly is steadfastness under suffering. James 1-4 is where we're focusing. In verse 2, it says, consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces. And then in 4, it says, let steadfastness have its full effect. So when you're facing trials, that's when steadfastness is going to have its full effect, right? Like, when you're suffering, like, that is when your faith is tried the most. We just talked about this in Job. Like, Satan's like, of course he worships you because he has everything he wants. Like, let me go take away from him and then see if his faith wavers. So when we're suffering, that's when our faith has to be the strongest. And I think I, joked in a video the other week, I've tried to, turn my perspective of, when I feel like, I'm being tried. Like, Satan's messing with me because he knows my heart's in the right place, right? Like, Satan's, treating me like Job. He's like, you think she's so faithful, let me go mess with her and see. And we're going to show Satan up, right? We're going to stay steadfast in our faith. And so I just want to end real quick. I'm running out of time on Isaiah 54:10. Just because I feel like this is an overarching verse of all 4 of those steadfastness. So steadfastness in love, steadfastness in faith, steadfastness in obedience, and steadfastness under suffering. And if you don't want to get tongue twisted with all the steadfast, just keeping our faithful endurance. We're staying up to pace, right, guys? So Isaiah 54:10 is, for the mountains may move and the hills disappear, but even then my faithful love for you will remain. My covenant of blessing will never be broken, says the Lord who has mercy on you. So like we said earlier, nothing we can do can make him turn away from us. He wants to meet us where we're broken. And I think we need to return that favor to him, right, guys? Like, it says, for the mountains may move and the hills disappear, but even then my faithful love for you will remain. Like, we need to say that right back to God. Like, we may fail, we may mess up, like, the things that we feel like we need. We may be being selfish with our prayers and wanting immediate gratification, but our love for God is not going to waver, and we're going to stay true to him, and we're going to be steadfast in our faith so that others can see this through us and come to know God themselves. That's what it's all about at the Sunshine Sisters. I love y'all. I hope you have a wonderful week.